Any way in the world today takes everything you got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You want to go where you can see that troubles are all the same. You want to go where everybody knows your name. You want to go where you can see that troubles are all the same. You want to go where everybody knows your name.
And welcome back to Wrestling Cheers, where everybody knows your name, especially when we hail to the king, baby. This is Wrestling Cheers. We like to talk about things going on in the Northeast Ohio independent wrestling scene. We preview shows, we review shows, and sometimes we even have interviews along the way. This is a preview show for this Saturday's AIW show in Akron, Ohio at the Tadmor Shrine. Hail to the King, baby, featuring the King, Harley Race. I am your host. I am heavy about that. I've had a conversation with fellow members of this show, and nobody really calls me Heavy Set. I am at Heavy Set 330 on all social media. And that's kind of the persona that I went by. A lot of the other podcasts that I came before this, I was always just known as Heavy Set. Well, people who come on this show know me in real life, and I can understand why they don't feel comfortable or just normal call me Heavy Set or Heavy. So, as a kind of a transition, I'm going to now try to start introducing myself as Summers. I've grown attached to the Heavy Set name, so I'll try to be using both for a while, but I want to transition into just being called Summers. My name, Justin Summers, not like a hidden thing about me, but I don't know. So many times on the show, people just call me Summers, so fuck it. Let's just go with that, because people have been using it. So, I am your host, Justin Summers, aka Heavy Set. And, like I said, we got that all going on. And please rate, review, and subscribe to wherever you're listening to this podcast, whether it be Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or Podbean, WrestlingCheers.podbean.com. Please find us on all your social media. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Facebook.com/WrestlingCheers, Twitter.com/WrestlingCheers, and Instagram.com/WrestlingCheers. Email, if you so choose a desire, WrestlingCheers@gmail.com. And we have the merch store over at whatamaneuver.net. So, like I said, this is a preview show for AIW, and it's been a while since we've had a show like this, so it's now not just me in an interview. We've got some wrestling to talk about. So let's start off with panelist number one. We have none other than Rick.
Hey, how are you, gentlemen?
How are things going?
Everything's great. I'm kind of excited to be back into the flow. Doing the interviews were great over the last month or so, but it's fun to do a preview. And if we're doing a preview, that means we have an exciting event that we are getting ready for this weekend, baby.
That's the other thing. There are just so many fucking shows coming up in the near future. Just within like March and the beginning of April, or just let's say March and April, next 2 months, we have 5 shows. Or 2.5 months. Whatever.
It's fabulous.
Yeah, it's
fabulous.
And the next 4 episodes are back-to-back preview, review. No break in the middle. And actually, I have to double-check the calendar because of the newly announced Wrestle Rave. That kind of really screws up my plans because I kind of had some interviews scheduled, and also this is how complex things are going to get. Like, that whole few weeks are sketchy. Mainly because if I got this correct, how I'm planning in my head, the review for Wrestle Rave is going to fall in the same week or even the same episode as the preview for the Slumber Party Massacre. So, yeah, we got a lot of shit going on. So, fun things to look forward to. A lot of previews and reviews, and I think people really love previews, reviews. The great thing about them is when the shows come out, you can still like listen to the preview before you listen to it, and you can listen to it afterwards. I don't know if people do that, but occasionally there will be some hits on episodes that are like old previews and reviews, so who knows. All right, let's also bring on the first show of AIW for the year, and this is also the first newest member to the show in a little while. We have actually someone who's kind of been mentioned on the show before, Ringside Shots Photography. We have Andrew Jones. Is that like what you want to go by? Or like, what do you want to do?
Yeah, we'll go by Andrew Jones. As you said, also Ringside Shots Photography. I've spent the last year or so running around Texas, chasing ACH, Keith Lee, Lance Hoyt, Sammy Guevara down and taking pictures. And now I'm back in the Ohio area, and very excited to get back to AIW. Very excited to see some quality wrestling. Not saying that there wasn't any in Texas, but after going to AIW and some of the shows in the area and then transitioning down to Texas, it was definitely a culture shock. So I'm very excited to be here, and excited to talk about the show, because what a show to come back to.
Did you have Whataburger down in Texas while you were there?
Yes, there was like 15 of them within driving distance. That I had In-N-Out, basically any of the West Coast chains we had down there.
What were your thoughts on those two chains?
So I had two very bad Whataburger experiences. Both times the orders were wrong, they were cold, and it just kind of felt like a ghetto McDonald's. Now I don't know if that was just my bad experience. I could see it. But then I had In-N-Out, and basically every single time I had In-N-Out, it was basically the best. Every single time I went, it was fire, hot, ready to go. The fresh cut fries were amazing. Basically, it's stopped Whataburger every single time. And again, like I said, I only had two bad Whataburger experiences, but I mean, most people picked craft burgers, so like they had like Shake Shack and a bunch of places like that people preferred to go over like Whataburger.
I think I had the advantage, like the Whataburgers I went to were like not in like really big metropolitan areas, so and they're also where there was truck parking, but I've always had pretty good service. But then again, my favorite thing there was never the burger. It was the barbecue chicken strip sandwich, which is my favorite. But
so maybe I ordered wrong. Maybe because I went with like a Texas toast, like patty melt, and it was just all sorts of funky. I've
had the patty melt. Patty melt's something that if I have friends that rave about, I think it's pretty good. Then the first thing I tried was the burger. I mean, it's not really memorable, but at the same time, I don't remember that much about the In-N-Out burger that I had. So it felt kind of the same, just like a burger. But the barbecue chicken strip sandwich or whatever that is, like every time now I go, that's what I get. And I haven't seen it anywhere else, and I think it was there for a shorter period of time, was a root beer milkshake. People think that sounds disgusting, but it's basically just a root beer float, but in shake form. And it was really fucking good.
Yeah, it's like A&W. Why wouldn't you want a root beer milkshake? That sounds delicious.
Anyway, let's get into this card. People don't want to talk about all the food stuff. That's what the interview episodes are for. Talk about weird shit like that. So let's start with what we're going to do. Normal format, for those who don't know, is we're going to pick 3 matches. In this case, there's going to be 4 because there's a reason, and we're going to talk about them as much as we can. Then we'll go back over them and then add in the other matches, and we'll actually put down picks. So first things first, let's start off with the Pick Your Poison matches. Start off with Joshua Bishop versus Filthy Tom Lawler. How do you guys think Joshua Bishop is going to do against fucking Filthy? This is going to be fucking nuts. Start with Andrew.
I'm going to be honest with you. I think it's going to be a barn burner. I mean, Bishop is just constantly evolving, like show after show. I mean, I've only been watching on demand and on SmartMark, but I mean, everything that I've seen show after show, he's evolving. And it's same with Lawler. I mean, Lawler's been out and kind of, in and out here and there. And I mean, they're both on tears. I think that they're going to literally beat the living hell out of each other. I'm hoping so anyways.
Can we also get an update on Joshua Bishop's promo picture? Because this is absolute rookie Joshua Bishop, and he's nowhere near looking like that kind of fresh meat anymore. Like, I feel like he's built up a persona. He's built up a little bit meaner look. This looks like a kind of a white meat baby face, like, no pun intended, but God, I think this was a good pick by Dom. Just throwing him like to the wolves. Like the only other better pick than this, and I would love to have seen it, is Dan the Beast Severin. But Instead, we get the return of Filthy Tom. Can't complain about Filthy Tom. God, he's going to put a beating on. Like, what is Filthy Tom going to come out to? Is he going to go back to, okay, I'm just going to be a wrestler? Or is he dressing like to intimidate, impersonate his opponent? So, what do you think about that, Rick?
This Tom Lawler is going to be all business. We have a little bit of back and forth going on with the Twitter machine with Josh Bishop, with his photoshopped photos, from Lawler's MMA matches where he didn't come out on top. And one thing I think you don't want to do with Tom Lawler is poke the bear. And I think he might have poked the bear a little bit on this one. I think you're getting all business Tom Lawler. I think that's why Dominic picked him. It's funny that you said Dan Severn. Those are the two names that I initially thought as soon as they announced this match, that it was going to be an MMA guy. It was going to be a Dan Severn. It was going to be a Tom Lawler. It's going to be interesting because if you remember the last Akron show, it was Josh Bishop, Tracy Williams. So you got another guy, Lawler, who's more similar to Tracy Williams in a style that Bishop is getting used to. I would consider Bishop more of a big bruiser, brawler type, and obviously anybody from that MMA world gets that wrestler technical kind of thing. I think it's going to be interesting. It might just be Tom Lawler trying to stretch him, trying to make the Bishop's not a rookie anymore, but by comparison, trying to make the young guy just show some respect. And that's what this whole thing's been about with Dominic trying to get Bishop to respect the business, to respect himself, to respect everybody that's around. I agree. It's going to be an absolute barn burner.
So what you're saying, he's going to Stu Hart him.
He's going to stretch him.
I was thinking either Stu Hart or, I'm going to fuck up his name, Sal Mandini from Ready to Rumble.
Wow, you just brought out a Ready to Rumble reference. Very, very well done.
I mean, come on. Do you remember that dude who was basically a Stu Hart? Sal Mandini, want to wrestle?
Yep. Sal Mandini.
I got 3 words for you, baby. 911.
Sal Mandini. Want to wrestle?
Sal Mandini. Sure, it's a real honor.
Tap out, son.
Yeah, like this. I was happy too. Is something we talked about before we started recording. It's actually kind of cool that we had a pick your poison opponents announced. Like, I mean, granted, I love speculation, and that's something we would have done with these two matches. Of like, who do you think it's going to be? But kind of going in, like, knowing, so you actually get that kind of shock, like, oh, cool, Filthy Tom Lawler. Oh, cool, Kevin Thorne. Like, when you see the announcement, you can also see, like, the process, too, of, like, why they were picked. And, like, what they somewhat represent. So, starting off with Filthy Tom, it's fucking awesome. And let's get into Kevin Thorne, the Joshua Bishop's pick versus Dominic Garrini. Kevin Thorne, the not so known, and I say that probably not in the right way of it, but like the not so known hometown guy. Like, he's very known, but like when you think Kevin Thorne, you don't think Akron, Ohio, but he has some roots. He has family. It's kind of like he's the Faye Jackson for this show, where it's someone from the area, kind of don't think about them as being from the area, and they bring in their family. And it's always cool to see those fans there because they get into it like crazy. And like, for a guy like Kevin Thorne, like I didn't even know he had like the Akron roots, and that's pretty fucking awesome. And seeing him back against Dom, this is just a typical Bishop pick, and I'm looking forward to see how Dominic Garrini will do. I mean, when you, like, your rookie year, what was it? He went against fucking Zack Sabre Jr.? Like, dude gets great opponents. I'm curious to see what he pulls out of Kevin Thorne. What do you think about it?
I definitely think it's going to be a good match. I mean, the last time Kevin Thorne came around, I remember seeing, and he tore up the place. He from side to side, he went through. I definitely think this is an interesting pick. I definitely kind of thought, like you said, that we were going to go more on like an MMA based side, that both guys were going to pick someone more MMA based, but I like that Dominic went with someone that, of course, Lawler, someone more MMA based, but Bishop, even though he doesn't have like that weird side, he did decide to go Kevin Thorne, something a little bit different. Maybe not the pick that everyone thought he was going to go with, or that type of wrestler that everyone thought he was going to go with. I think that it'll be a good match, and I think that in the same way that I think that they're going to set it up for this guy, for Thorne to run him around the place, and I think at the end, I think Dominic will come out, but I think that it's going to be a good match, and I think that it's going to be hard hitting. I think both of these matches we're going to see some shots that we're just going to both look at each other like, wow, that was nasty.
Okay, what do you think, Rick?
I think it's interesting. The way that I see it is Dominic picked a guy that's kind of like Dominic. You have basically an MMA fighter. Dominic's more along that vein of a MMA fighter. Bishop picked a guy that's kind of, maybe what you could see Josh Bishop being in 10 years. One of those big, giant, massive, just bruisers, just beat you down kind of guys. And if it's one of these things like, it's almost like a scouting thing, see if this is me that's in there against this guy, kind of a strategery kind of thing,
Strategery. Okay. George Bush.
Strategery. It's a dry run. It's like Dominic against Kevin Thorne. Bishop can kind of put himself in that mindset, see how that style of offense works against Dominic, and then make himself a game plan from there, if you will. Strategery.
Yeah, I think God, pulling out a George Bush reference in 2019.
What you said is colossally well played. Is that what you said?
You could put that in your lockbox. That's technically not George Bush, but that was Gore.
Lockbox.
Yeah, I don't know what could else be said. These two matches are going to be fun. So, like I said, it kind of sucks that we're not going to see the surprise aspect of it, but I'm fine with this. Let's move on to a match that we've seen a change to. Now, we'll go through it later in the picks, but we did have a change to a match that we're going to talk about later on, and they have not announced per se the official change, but the match was supposed to be the Young Studs versus the Production versus No Consequences versus the Philly Marino Experience. Well, Chase Oliver has been injured, and he's had a surgery, so he's not going to be able to be in that match. Instead of Trey Lamar getting another opponent, Trey Lamar is in another match.
Now, for those of you that are watching that follow AIW but did not quite get the message, my tag team partner, Chase Oliver, will not be there on February 23rd due to knee surgery that will be keeping him out of action for quite a while. Though Chase Oliver may be hurt, Trey Lamar is not. Trey Lamar is 100% good to go, and on February 23rd, I will be there. And last time I checked, Matt Justice will be too. And that intense title sure does look pretty. So here's my challenge to you, Matt Justice. What do you think we make things just a little bit more interesting? What do you think we make Matt Justice versus Wheeler Yuta versus Trey Lamar, all for the intense title? Come on, champ. Let's give him a show. Ball's in your court.
He's been added to the intense title match, Matthew Justice versus Wheeler Yuta versus Trey Lamar. I like the idea of Wheeler Yuta versus Matthew Justice. Old school versus a newer name in AIW. I was curious of how well they would square off. And then adding Trey Lamar in there, I don't hate it, because I think this adds a little bit of depth, and it's also going to prove what kind of talent Trey Lamar has going up against a guy like Wheeler Yuta and Matthew Justice. What do you think about this, Andrew?
I mean, I agree 100%. You've seen Matthew Justice, I mean, even over the last year, just evolve into a worker that can do anything. I mean, he can do the in the ring match. He can do the brawl all around the ring. He can do the brawl all around the arena. The match he had with Nick Gage, where he like jumped off of the bleachers down onto the ground. I think that throwing Trey Lamar in this, you're going to get those high spots. You're going to get some of those crazy flips, and that he and Chase were known for, and I think Wheeler Yuta is going to be the nice mixture. You're going to have Justice playing more of the ground game, trying to play maybe a little bit more of the hardcore side of it, and then you're going to have Trey Lamar doing flips and some suicide dives, and really putting his body on the line. And I think Wheeler Yuta is going to play in the middle. I think you're going to get some high spots from him, but I think he's going to play some of the spots of the hardcore match. I'm interested to see, how Trey Lamar reacts to a hardcore match and to an intense title match. I kind of want to see Justice put him through something, put some pain on him. More pain the better. Like I said, Justice, from the first AIW event I came to, when Justice came out, just top to bottom, I think it was the first match I ever saw, was Justice. And I mean, since that day, I've been on the Justice train, and I think everything that he's got going on right now, with the intense title, getting this exposure. And I think, like you said, I loved the one-on-one matchup, but I think throwing Trey Lamar in there, you just throw this giant bomb of energy that you don't know what he's going to do. Like I said, I hope that they throw their bodies out on the line. I think this is going to be a killer match. And I just hope to see some blood. Let's go, guys.
What do you think about it, Rick?
I agree with everything he just said. It's interesting to me because it's quite a bit of a conflict of styles between what Justice has been experiencing in the last 6 months to a year. Justice has been wrestling, Nick Gage and Tim Donst and Kyle the Beast, and none of these guys are Trey Lamar or Wheeler Yuta. Those guys are quick. Those guys will utilize speed. Certainly know the aerial abilities. So I'm really anxious to see how Justice is able to adapt. To catch up with these guys, to not let them. He definitely has the power advantage. In the matchup, but those other two guys. To see if they can run around, if they can sneak up on somebody, get a roll up, get something, and somebody can effectively, try and steal that title from him.
This is going to be a test for not only what Trey Lamar is like up against a guy like Matthew Justice, but also a guy like Wheeler Yuta. We're going to be able to see how far he's come. We see him in tag action, and I think it's a foregone conclusion. Especially with Matthew Justice there. Trey Lamar's probably going to get his ass whooped. Like, this is going to be a beating. And granted, Yuta's going to get some of it too. Not really getting into picks right now, but this is also how much can Matthew Justice take at once. I'm really looking forward to this match. This might be an under-the-radar match.
Every time I check my phone and look at this Twitter app, all the tweets are about 2019. Who's getting signed? Who's getting booked here? Who's leaving AIW? And it got me thinking. You see, when I started wrestling, I told myself I never wanted to be a big fish in a small pond. No, I wanted to swim with the sharks. So in 2019, I'm making my own opportunities. On February 23rd, in Akron, Ohio, I want a shot at you, Tracy Williams. I want a shot to win that absolute title. Me, Mr. Fresh to Death, Pretty Boy Smooth, that 6'9" beast from the concrete jungle that's been overlooked for far too long. And I heard you like to fight, and I heard you hit hard, but nothing hits harder in life than regret. And that's exactly what I'd have if I wasn't prepared for this.
All right, let's move into the title match, the absolute title match. Hot Sauce Tracy Williams versus PB Smooth. PB challenged Hot Sauce, and I think this is also a test for PB. This is a dude who obviously, like, everybody started at the bottom, but, had troubles against the production, then tag team championships and all that happened. And I felt like that really built up the stock of PB Smooth and AIW. And instead of going going after the Intense champion, he's going for the Absolute. And I'm looking forward to fucking Hot Sauce 2 has just been on obviously a great streak in AIW and even outside of AIW with, now being in Ring of Honor. Like, his stock has rose so much, but I don't know if PB will be able to hold up. What do you think, Rick?
Without going too in depth on the picks right now, I agree with what you just said. Tracy Williams has been on a roll. It's been a year, going on a year and a half, 2 years that he's been around. Winning the Gauntlet, the good time J-Lit stuff, and finally, getting his moment with the title. These main events in Akron, and there's only been a few, but this one goes right along with last time we were here and we saw Tracy Williams and Bishop, and now you get Tracy Williams and PB Smooth. PB definitely has a good size advantage. But I'm going to be really anxious to see how PB can handle a guy that is just incredibly technically sound in Hot Sauce. If he's able to overpower him, if PB's got some stuff, some moves that we've never seen before, to show off his wrestling ability, or if he's just going to try and mow through him. So to me, the real interesting part is going to see how PB adapts to Tracy Williams. I mean, he's put his time in, him and Hornswoggle doing the twins thing. And while that was a good run, it wasn't probably as serious of a run as PB really wants. And I think he's going to be really hungry for that title. So I think it's going to be a really, really good, what I assume would be the main event.
What do you think, Andrew?
I agree 100%. I think that the way that Tracy, Hot Sauce has been built up over the last year, just from everything that I've seen, I think that he's, the more technically sound, the more, I guess, like I said, built up, he's got this giant wave of momentum. But I see PB giving him a run for his money. I see him coming in there. I see him smacking him around a lot. I see him picking him up, dropping him, and whooping some ass. I think PB is like you said, he's ready for this. He's ready to. I think that the time with Swoggle showed him that he could be a champion, and it's just a matter of time before he gets his sights set on the main title. Mr. PB, Mr. Front Page Newspaper. Out there killing it in Erie. So I think he's riding his own little wave of momentum. PB is drastically improved over the last year. Physically, he's improved. If you look at pictures of PB from a year ago to now, the dude's jacked. He's put on tons of muscle. He's no longer, I would never say he was lanky, but, he was definitely skinnier at the time. And I think he's going to come in and push Hot Sauce around. I think that, Hot Sauce has a little bit more technical knowledge, and I think that that's where he's going to shine. But I think if it was all PB just throwing power down on him, I think he could walk away with it. But I think it really depends on the psychological game that Hot Sauce is going to play. And, I don't necessarily see outside interference, but with someone of PB's size, I wouldn't doubt that there could be something, some kind of miff here or there that allows Hot Sauce to walk out with it. But,
that would be a crazy ending of PB Smooth walking out the AIW Absolute Champion. We have a show in 2 weeks. That's it. That's going to be the other fun thing too. I was just thinking about with this card, and we have with any time AIW runs a show like really close to each other. Like we won't know all the matches for, the next show, like immediately, but, or I should say as of right now, but after we walk out of this show, there's going to be matches had. There's going to be matches that, okay, somebody has challenged somebody, or maybe we're going to champion. Like, there's so much shit for a 2-week build. And, like, what, of the 7-year itch, how many, like, matches we have as of this recording? We got, like, 3. Mm-hmm. Filthy Tom Lawler being one of them. Oh, I didn't realize this. This is a dance-less show.
Maybe. We'll see. I feel like we're going to get a surprise, possibly.
Oh, the thing that I do want to throw out before we get into the rest of the picks is I always clear with Thorne whether we have all the matches that are announced, because sometimes there's like one match that gets announced before the show drops, and sometimes it's just in between recording. So I got that thumbs up, like we have everything announced. The only other thing that we can kind of touch on, but obviously don't have too much information because the show has to happen, is the fact of they're doing the tryout for the show of wrestlers, not even just local wrestlers. There's people that are coming in from different states. There's a guy who I know who's going to be there. He's kind of advertised that he's going to be doing this tryout, and I have an interview with him recorded, but it's not going to probably be released until sometime later this month, or next month, I should say, and that's Cabana Man Dan. I know he's one of the people doing the tryouts. That's the only name that I'll say that I know. I do know a couple more, so I don't think there's an exact format of who's going to be in what type of match. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like the top 6 in a scramble.
Yep, Scramble City, baby. It's got to be.
That's what I'm thinking too.
Yep.
So we have no idea of who is going to be in that match. Maybe even a what? Obviously not Space Monkey, but there could be another Space Monkey. There can be other types of beings in wrestling. So I'm really curious of who's going to show up, because I think that's almost what these Akron shows are kind of turning into, where people are getting shots. Granted, last time it was like a lot of the pre-show stuff with the WrestleCon type atmosphere, the Rubber City Con atmosphere. So yeah, let's see where we go with that. Anyway, before we continue on, we'll be back right after this commercial break.
Are you tired of the same old pro wrestling? Then check out the amazing action on Powerslam.tv, the biggest indie pro wrestling channel in the world. Get over 3,000 hours of the best pro wrestling events from over 100 of the biggest names in the industry from over 15 countries around the globe. Get your free trial today at Powerslam.tv.
All right, we're back, and we're going to continue into the rest of this card. I mean, as of right now, that's the other crazy thing. I have 9 matches, so I don't know how much more is getting added. So let's start with the women. Britt Baker versus Tasha Steelz. I have no idea who Steelz is, but I mean, I do know Britt Baker. Maybe this is the last time we see Britt Baker. Who fucking knows? But it's always fun seeing her back in AIW. For this pick, I gotta go the mayor of, I'm not gonna say that word because I hate it so much, but I'm gonna go with Britt Baker. How about you, Rick?
I'm gonna go with the AEW sweetheart, Britt Baker.
Originally the AIW sweetheart, but
yes,
how about
new
you?
And improved.
How about you, Andrew?
I think it's going to be a clean sweep. I think no way that Thorne has her losing going into her AIW or AEW stint. I think that she has a rocket strapped to her back, and we're going to see the doctor come out and put a smile on everyone's face.
And Marino T coming to you live in a living color, baby. We're gonna ride the edge of a lightning bolt all the way from Erotic City to Akron, Ohio, the Tadmor Shrine, baby. And you see, we're facing 3 other tag teams. Ooh, and the tag team division, it's getting even stronger in AIW. It's growing, it's getting better. But boys, get your booty on the dance floor and make our day, baby. It's 2019, and it's time for PME to pump it up. Pump up that jam, baby. So I hope you boys are ready to feel it coming in the air tonight. Ooh, that's right. Cause I'm Philly C. And I'm Marino T. And we're PME.
As the old saying goes, the show must go on. A couple months ago, Magnum CK had to retire because he hurt his back. If you ask me, it looks like Magnum CK turned his back on the production. He turned his back on Derek Director and Eddie Only. Everyone seems to forget that I am the director. I am responsible for Magnum CK. Everyone in this tag team division seems to be filming short films. Eddie Only and myself are making movies. February 23rd at Hail to the King. It's about time Eddie Only and Derek Director step out from behind the curtain into the silver screen. Cut.
All right, this match, we're going to do it, but we don't know if it's going to happen. So we have the Young Studs versus the production versus Philly Marino Experience versus what's supposed to be No Consequences. We'll throw in, if this match happens, you figure it's going to be a fill-in team. Who do you think the fill-in team is going to be back to before we get into picks? If it's going to be anybody. Maybe we've seen it, but the fuck it.
Fuck it.
Or, they're not announced on this show, but what about Duke Money?
I mean, I'd love to see Manser and Jock come out.
Those are the top two on my mind. Any names you guys got?
No, I was thinking the Fuckets.
Yeah, I think the Fuckets are the easiest people for them to call. I think for the kind of match that they're probably going for here, that would be a perfect fill-in. So if we have this match, who do you guys think wins? And you could say just mystery team. Like, we don't have to make the pick of like who do you think that team's going to be and they're going to win. If this happens, do we continue the role and have it with the Young Studs? That's what I want to say. How about you, Rick?
This is, we don't even need to know who the mystery team is. This is Philly and Marino. This is PME. They need this match. They're looking to get Colin and Cheech at Mania, and it's all PME.
I agree with you. I would have said, if this would have stayed the way it was, the way Thorne was talking, I would have definitely thought No Consequences was going to go over. But with all the changes, PME makes the most sense with how the role they've been on and kind of where they're going. I would love to see the Young Studs get it. Eric Ryan has been just absolutely on a tear in GCW. Just some crazy, death matches and some just crazy, putting his body on the line. But I think, hate to put down the production, but I definitely think PME is gonna take this.
That's interesting too. You say Eric Ryan. If you saw any of those, that GCW event, and then those just horrible pictures of the glass cuts on his arm that just happened, this last week, huge gashes from plate glass. Man, if Eric Ryan's breathing, he's good to go. But sometimes for your own good, somebody's got to pull the plug on something.
I'm going to change my pick to PME because I do think this is going to be the road to them getting a tag team title match, either it be at Mania weekend or fucking Absolution. Like the
point to the sign. This is their point to the sign match.
Point
to the sign.
Are you going to have a sign for Akron?
There is no Akron. It's a bit too early in our calendar year. So basically, I was thinking if you take the originators of the sign pointing, and we our calendar is about 4 months behind theirs. So traditionally, April-ish is that gauntlet time to get to the August Absolution. So the sign usually appears right about the time of the gauntlet, I would think.
Yeah, that's true.
Swoggle wins the gauntlet, points at the sign.
God, what if
WWE Hall of Famer Swoggle?
Yeah.
What? God, Swoggle wins the gauntlet and goes to Absolution and beats Hot Sauce Tracy Williams.
Oh my gosh!
I'm here for it. Let's go.
Yeah, I'll be there.
All right. Next up, we have 4-way match: Zach Thomas versus Danhausen versus Wes Barkley versus I wish Pod Van Dam, Ed, or Caden was here, but Takeshi Minono. Stop your laughing. That's the best I can fucking pronounce his name. So, him. Who do you guys think wins this? I'm gonna... God, this is a tough one. I think... I'm gonna go Zach Thomas. And that's splitting from a couple people that I think could really pull this off. But I'm gonna go Zach Thomas. What do you think, Rick?
I think Zach Thomas is the call here. I think he's to an eventual intense title shot. I'd love to see him and Matt Justice eventually. Even the last show, him and Eddie Kingston, after Dom and Bishop got out of the way, was a nice 5, 6, 7 minute exchange. I think Zach Thomas is the call.
I'm going to go with the boy Danhausen. I've seen some of his most recent promos he's been putting out, kind of building up to some of his Mania weekend stuff and just some of the creative stuff he's doing. I think it's been a while since he's had anything in AIW. And I think that he's kind of come up on the losing end of a couple matches, and I think it's about time for him to do it. I could also see Wes doing something. But they talk on the podcast. Wes needs to get to training and get his mind right and quit driving around his Maserati and worry more about training and less about pointing at the camera.
No excuses 2019. All right. Let's go to the next match. We have the Duke, Dr. Daniel C. Rockingham, and Party Never Stops versus Kikutaro, Ryder Reed, and Weird World. What a collection of individuals for one fucking match. I'm going to go with the Duke, Dr. Daniel C. Rockingham, and Party Never Stops. How about you, Andrew?
I have to agree with you there. I think after Twan's podcast appearance and his, the Twan talk, I think we're going to see some pain. Don't get me wrong. I want to see Weird World pull it out. Love seeing Kikutaro here. But I think that the bad guys are going to win here.
How about you, Rick?
Yeah, it's the Duke team. That's really all I have to say about that.
All right. Next up, we have Thrift Store Jobber's favorite wrestler, Lewis Linden, versus TKD. I have a feeling Thrift Store Jobber is anticipating this match to the utmost high. I'm going to go with the King of the Indies, Lewis Linden. How about you, Andrew?
I'm going to go with Lewis Linden as well, but please, Lewis, if you listen to this, put your gear in the dryer and turn it to like extra perm press, extra hot. I love Lewis Linden in the sense of I think that one of the reasons like Thrift Store Jobber and a couple other people don't like him is his gear, man. I can't deal with baggy butt. Like he literally has saggy butt with his pants. Like go get tailored, brother. Like you'll have so much more exposure if you those pants are a little bit tighter and a little bit more fitted.
How about you, Rick?
And if you mean Thrift Store Jobber waiting in anticipation, you mean taking a nap in the front row, then yes, I agree. That's what Jobber will be doing when TKD Tommy Kwando pulls the upset on this one and takes out Lewis Linden.
All right, next up we have, let's go with the intense title match, Matthew Justice versus Wheeler Yuta versus Trey Lamar. There's no reason why I think Matthew Justice loses the title here. He's going to live to fight another day as champion by slaying 2 opponents. Nothing more I can say. How about you, Rick?
I agree. Matt Justice gets the job done. He's going to have to watch his back, head on a swivel that one of these guys doesn't try to roll the other one up and have him lose the title without even being a factor in the pinfall. But I think Matt's a smart guy, and I think he will get the job done.
I think I agree with you. I think Justice has the rocket strapped to his back. I think that he's going to put on a hell of a showing. I do think that, Yuta and Trey Lamar may try and gang up on Justice, take him out early on. And I think maybe we're going to see, them put some pain on Justice, maybe put him through something, cut him up a little bit. And then I think we may see a little high flying for a while before Justice recovers and then comes back and levels them both and takes the win. I don't see him losing this title anytime soon, especially not to Yuta or Lamar.
Next up, we have the Pick Your Poison match between Bishop and Guarini. And we start with Bishop versus Filthy Tom Lawler. I'm gonna go Filthy Tom on this one. How about you, Rick?
I don't know why. I just feel like Bishop's going to get it done. I don't know how. I don't know. There might be some dirty tricks involved, but I just have this feeling that Bishop's going to get it done.
I'm going to follow up with that. I definitely think that Bishop's going to win it. I think he's going to surprise everyone. I think Lawler is going to snap after the match, and I think we're going to see. Bishop come away with the win. I think Lawler. It's great to have him back. I think him coming back is good, but I think this is setting up for Bishop showing and proving that he isn't absent and he can go the distance.
And then we have the flip side, Kevin Thorne versus Dominic Guarini, and I'm going to put a victory here for Dominic Guarini. How about you, Andrew?
Yep, Guarini's going to stretch him out. He's going to. I think it's going to be a barn burner. I think that going to be. I think this is going to spill out of the ring. I think it's going to get a little intense. But I definitely think Dom's going to come out with the win. I think this is going to set up for something special between Bishop and Dom. Or, it could be the opposite way. Bishop may interfere with Dom's match and Dom may interfere with Bishop's match. So I think at this point it's just a flip of the coin.
But you, Rick?
Yeah, I agree. I think they're going to. I think they're just going to beat the living heck out of each other for a good 5, 8, 10 minutes. Eventually, Dominic will take this one down, and I think he'll get the win by submission.
All right, that only leaves the main event of the evening: Hot Sauce Tracy Williams versus PB Smooth for the AIW Absolute Championship. I got to go with Hot Sauce Tracy Williams. No offense to PB, but I'm just going to put my safe money on Hot Sauce. How about you, Rick?
You're safe. Duke money. I just think that Tracy Williams is going to be too much for PB to handle. I think Tracy Williams has been around way, way too long to get surprised by something that PB might have. Tracy is another one of these guys that can just, if you want to do a little powerhouse, throw each other around, he can kind of hang with you. But I just see him, pulling something out of nowhere, and all of a sudden, he's got a submission on you, and that's the end of the road. So I'm going to go with Tracy.
I think I agree with you, man. Tracy, he just has too much going for him right now. He's riding the wave from Ring of Honor. His last year in AIW has been amazing. Don't get me wrong. Who do I want to win? I want PB to win. But I don't think that's realistic. I think PB is going to put the smackdown on him for solid 8 to 10 minutes. Rub the ring with him. I think we're going to think PB's going to go over, and I think Hot Sauce is just going to use his smarts. He's a ring technician. He's been in there longer. I think that Hot Sauce is just going to have that little bit of extra oomph and roll him up, something along those lines. Or I think it might even be a submission. I think Hot Sauce is really going to surprise us. But I think PB is going to definitely put him through the ringer for most of the match. But definitely Hot Sauce walking out with the title.
All right, that will do it for the preview for this Saturday's AIW show from the Tadmor Shrine. Like I said, this Saturday, February 23rd, bell time at 7:30. Hail to the King, baby. And any final thoughts or last minute plugs before we go, Rick?
No, as always, it is a lot of fun and a pleasure to be here with you gentlemen. So looking really forward to the fact that we are going to have what seems like about 10 shows in about 2 months. Looking forward to Mania and the build up to it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm right with you. I'm beyond excited to come back to my first almost a year. Excited to see all the good people there. Any plugs? Ringside Shots Photography on Instagram or Twitter. ringsideshots@gmail.com if you want to book Ringside Shots. That's about it for me.
And of course, you can find myself at Heavyset330 on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, just much like you can find this show on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Wrestling Cheers, facebook.com/Wrestling Cheers, twitter.com/Wrestling Cheers, and instagram.com/Wrestling Cheers. Email, if you so choose to desire, WrestlingCheers@gmail.com. Got the merch store over at whatamaneuver.net. And like I've said many, many times, please rate, review, and subscribe to us wherever you're listening to this fine podcast, whether it be Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or Podbean, WrestlingCheers.podbean.com. Check out our friends on the Trading Topics Network, such as All Beer Inside, Eurovision Showcase, Old School at the Movies, and Wrestling with Altitude. Check out our other podcast friends, such as Pod Van Dam, Super Fantastic Podcast, The Road Home from Wrestling, Kick Out at 2, The IndieCast, So Bros Network, Big Gold Bell Podcast, Spotlight Series, and I Got Your 5 Stars. And check out our other non-podcasting friends, such as Thrift Store Jobber, The Savage Dash, Set Tab Photo, Ringside Shots Photography, Sickening Pictures, Russell Void, Key on Sports, Stay Tough, MidwestTerritory.com, PowerSlam.tv. Use the promo code Wrestling Cheers, all one word, and get your first month free. And the official graphic designer of Wrestling Cheers, Moy Boy Designs. That will do it for us here on Wrestling Cheers, where everybody knows your name, even if you're a smooth pretty boy. Later.
Peace.
Making your way in the world today takes everything you got. Taking a break from all your worries sure would help a lot. Would you like to get away?